What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? International Glass Man, Real Spitters TV, Real Spitters Radio, RealSpitters.com. Holla at your boy, what it is. Come and holla at my people real quick. Talk about a few things. You know, see what it is. And one thing I want to really talk about for a moment is the situation with Adi Boom. The situation with Adi Boom, right? Because I'm trying to understand what they mean by Adi Boom snitch. Because I'm confused here. I know for myself, being in situations, right, where's not for nothing. When I had a witness against me, that witness name is entered into that paperwork. Don't know where to go when they flipping. Got a good girl with a good head and a bad girl that get good head. They both got in the case with Adi Boom, and whoever is saying he told in that paperwork is this statement that Adi Boom, by his government name, by his real name that appears on his birth certificate, is the person that gave the district attorney's office the statement which convicted the other two people. That's the question. Is his name given in the statement to the district attorney as the person who was the witness against the people who were convicted at trial? Because the trick of this shit, a lot of people don't understand, is if I cop out, I attest to what I did. In my cop out, I don't have to implicate nobody else. Because if you're asking me a question as to who did this and who did what, and I say I can't say because I wasn't there, because this is the part I played, this is my role, and I don't know what happened on this end of the spectrum, that's not snitching. However, what they do and present is the fact that one of the co-conspirators gave a statement. His statement only says what he did. But to an unbeknown, unsuspecting jury, it sounds like, oh, well, there's information stating that these guys was involved. No, that's not what that means. And see, and what they do is they play word games to make those who they are going to manipulate to co-sign their bullshit. Because when a person is telling, that person's name is included. That means we have, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a case. Because we can put this person on the witness stand at trial to conclude as to what they did. That's a snitch. But because you allowed the prosecutor's office to use the fact that a co-defendant already copped out, doesn't mean these co-defendants that's sitting before you was actually involved in the incident. But because they manipulate the jurors with the word game, it's how they get a conviction on that part. Because there's nothing to prove that the other person was there, except that somebody else copped out and took a plea. But in their plea, they never stated that the person sitting before you on trial had anything to do with the part they copped out to, what they played. That's the game. So that paperwork, if it doesn't have Adi Boom's name in that paperwork, you don't know who gave the prosecutor's office a statement. You don't know who that was that gave that statement. It could have been somebody else that was caught up in it and made to look like a co-conspirator who gave them up and walked away. You don't know. Well, he could have got probation or maybe a year in jail. You don't know because they don't name, if they don't name Adi Boom specifically, his name does not appear in that paperwork, you can't say he told on anybody. Only thing he did was left the floodgates open for them to manipulate the rest of the system and convict the rest of those guys because he copped out. That don't mean he told. Check the paperwork. If the paperwork has his name, that was his birth name, that his mother and father gave him in that paperwork, then yes, indeed, I can go along 100%. Adi Boom is a rat. Is a rap. But if his name is not in that paperwork, you can't say for sure who gave what statement to who. If it's just saying a statement given to prosecutor's office, who gave the statement? But because he got less time, because he was smart enough to cop out when he did, doesn't mean he gave anybody up. Check that paperwork. See, and that's the thing where I go to say, like, these jurors, like me, as a melanated person coming out of the urban community, knowing what it's like for me to live in my community, and they call me in for jury duty, and I get placed on the jury, of course I'm going to be listening to whatever is being stated in that courtroom. Because I know for certain the police lie. I know the district attorney's office lie. I know that for a fact. But see, our people are so, and Martin Luther King said it himself, I think I walked my people into a burning building. Because integration was the biggest setback we ever stepped into. And right now what's happening is because people want to be a part of that system so bad, they willing to let anything manipulate their mind, their thought process, without even hearing the truth. And that's sad, because our people is some of the most deceptive. Like, here it is, you have a set of people who hate you by every meaning. I mean, when I say hate, I mean hate. Hate, I mean hate you. Everything about you, because they know who you are. They know what kind of monarchy background you come from. They know that. And because they know that, they hate you with every ounce of their living. Because they know for a fact they'll never be as great as you. They know that for a fact. They will never be as good as you. So what they do is they look for every way to keep you down, and then every way to manipulate you against your own time. Just like with the police department, right? You go in there for this training, and they make you believe everybody who looks like you is a criminal. How do you go for that? Because then you have to look in the mirror at yourself and say, I'm criminal. Even though you got on that same blue uniform, dickhead. Oh, excuse me. My bad. I apologize. I'll find a way to edit that out. But it's the truth. They look at you the same way, even though you got that same blue uniform on. Because remember, you look like me, so you just, they label you the same way. It's just right now they accepting you a little bit. And what you do everything in your power to fit in. So you'll call us every kind of name when you arrest us. You'll treat us just as fucked up and even worse. Because you assholes want to fit into a society who hates you. And I keep messing up. I apologize again. I got to learn to curb my language. I got to get better with that. But what happens is you let that part of society manipulate you so bad to the point, I don't know what you see when you look in the mirror every morning. Lawyers, I don't see, how could you go to work every day in good conscience knowing that you're being manipulated to put people in slavery? You're being manipulated to place your own people into slavery. And it happened so many centuries ago when they went over there to Africa and manipulated our people over there. Because yes, the Moors had a lot to do with it. Our own people had a lot to do with it, put us in slavery themselves. It is a fact. Go back and check the history. You see those red fez crowns right there in the midst of it. And then, you look at the Masonic Lodge, why they wearing them same fez crowns? Lets you know who taught them certain things. And it was our own kind. Just like Yakub, took the dissatisfied, taught them to hate, and check the history. I ain't got to keep going into it, but that's the thing, At what point do we come up out of that manipulation part and start saying to ourselves, no, this is not right. We're not going to continue to let this go on. And like I'm watching it right now, like I said, if you can process the paperwork with Adi Boom's birth name on it, that his mother and father gave him, that says he was the person that provided information against so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, then yes, indeed, he is a rat. But if that paperwork states that they had information or statements from a source or whatever, who was that source? See, that was a part of the paperwork they used to manipulate the trial jurors to convict them of the young men. What he copped out to had nothing to do with them getting convicted. Because he saw that, you know what, 5 years is better than 20 years, so yeah, I'm going to tell you what I did, and I'm going to take my I'm going to hold my weight, if that's the case. But if his name appears in that paperwork, his birth name that his mother and father gave him, then yes, indeed, he's a rat. But if you don't see that in that paperwork, and it's a statement given by it, that don't mean he told. That's what they manipulated the jurors to believe that one of them told. All that says is one of the other co-defendants took his just due and kept it pushing. Now, does that mean the other two people sitting there as actual co-defendants? No, it don't. No, it don't. But see, now that's on the lawyers to prove. But what happens, like I just stated, those lawyers are there because it's a brotherhood. Those lawyers, unless you're paying them and they're outside of that brotherhood, they're not going to utilize every legal precedence to get you free. Because they get paid by the same system that puts us in jail. Are we missing that? Those legal aids are paid by the same system that they utilize to put us in there. So you think they're there to positively represent you, to get you free? No, they're there to get you a plea deal. To where your body now is used for slave labor for the prison industrial system. What are my people missing in this? And see, and everybody else is being manipulated by this same word game. Learn the power of words. Read the dictionary. Learn the power of words. And the thing is, find an old dictionary from the 1700s and 1800s and find out the root words of a lot of those meanings and see the truth in it. Because a lot of it is revitalized, so they clean it up. But a lot of those words means nigger, and you don't mean nothing to this society. You're a chattel. You're not even a citizen. So check the history. Know the lingo. Know the jargon they're using to manipulate this whole system. And they play these word games that if you don't understand these words, they're going to get you at every time. And that's what they bank on. The fact that a lot of us are illiterate to the legal jargon that they use in those court systems. So when you hear certain words presented as a juror, and you have the space and the time to go through your phone to pull it up and define that word, look it up. Don't let them manipulate you, because they're liars. They're the biggest liars. Listen, the biggest lie they promoted was religion. To believe that everything is mystical, that God is a mystical being, when God, I'm looking at God right now while I'm looking in this camera at you. You know what I'm saying? I see God. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is a lot of people don't want to believe that, but it's written right there in that same book that they gave you, Psalms 82. It's written in your law. I said you are God in the presence of the Most High God. You can't get away from that fact. And because they know where the true life source on the planet, they did everything to manipulate that whole thing in their translations to make it seem like we were beneath. And if you take a look at community in itself, and then you kind of learn the Masonic Lodge and their history, you'll understand then who those sons of Zadok is, the children of the light, the sons of light. You know, and these are a lot of things that's not being brought to the forefront because you don't know who you are. And that's the secret of the Masonic Lodge. You don't know who you are. See, but that game can't be pulled on a lot of us because we took the time out to find out exactly who we were and what we mean to the society. And they can't manipulate some of us no more. That's why I'm telling you, check that paperwork. If that paperwork does not state nobody's name, then we don't know who actually said what. And like I said, I can cop out and never include nobody in my cop out. I'm just copping out to what I did because I know what I did. I don't have to implicate nobody in my cop out. And if they're telling me I have to do that, I don't have to cop out. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to agree to go to trial with everybody else. But if you allow me to take lesser time and give up me and the part I played in commission of this crime, then yeah, I can do that. Because I don't know what the fuck they did, and I don't know what they was doing, but this is what I did. Were they with me now? I can't really say that for sure, and I don't even know why they sitting there. You see what I'm saying? I can manipulate it any way I want, but I'm willing to take mine. I don't know them cats, but I don't even know why they here. But I know this is what I was doing. Yeah, I was in there, and it was me, boom, 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 boom. I could take it all if I want. See what I'm saying? Because I'm willing to take the offer. So I could take it all if I want, but now what they do is go, nah, you can't. Okay, but I'm willing to cop out. But because they don't want to let them go, they don't want to allow them to cop out, or whatever the fuck they want to do with them, or they don't want to cop out. That's on them. But if I'm saying to you, this is what I did, boom, 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 and I don't implicate nobody, they can say, yeah, okay, because the information we was given, boom, 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 whatever. What's that information? What exactly did he say? See what I'm saying? Don't let them play a word game and manipulate you to believe something that's truly not there. Because it's a word game. Now, like I said, if you can produce paperwork that has Adi Boom's birth name on it, saying he gave the prosecutor's office this information pertaining to these two gentlemen, every sense of the word, that man is a rat. But if we speculating on the fact that they use a word game to manipulate the jury to convict them of the two young men, I can't go for that because I've seen it done. And I know they're liars. Everybody know the police is liars. Everybody knows that. Everybody. Even the ones who ain't really willing to accept that fact. Okay, we commit crimes, you know what I'm saying, in the course of whatever the reason why we commit crimes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. Our family could be starving. So we go in the supermarket, he steal a couple of steaks. He should get 10 years for that? See, and this is what I'm saying. See, and what happens is our people on the jury ain't looking at that fact. Because the word game, they manipulating you now with words to make it seem like, and because we don't know better, we go and fall right into it. And then for the idiots, like I said, that goes and put on those blue uniforms and become those plantation overseers, officers, plantation overseers, along with our captors, is no better than our captors, man. I don't see you no different than our captors. Anybody who has a police uniform on is no better than the people who really hates me. If you don't have that uniform on in the process of trying to help your community, you're just as bad as the people who hate me. So I look at you the same way as I look at them. Whether you have the same color skin or not, I see you just like them. You might as well be Caucasian too or whatever. Because I don't see you as a brother with that uniform on. I don't see you as a sister with that uniform on. Because right there, you already telling me you're against me. Or you wouldn't have that uniform on. Unless you have that uniform on to police the community in a way that makes the community safe. When you see something wrong going on and you walk up to those young men and go, you know what? Y'all know y'all shouldn't be out here selling that stuff to your own people. You're helping the opposition to kill your own off. And have that conversation with them. I know you're not for us. Because you ain't even trying to educate them on what they're doing wrong. All you want to do is just go along with the people who hate us and make us look even better and beat on us and jump on us and kill us just the same. Because what was it? In school, you was bullied, you was picked on, you was snapped on, they called you a bum, they pulled your hair. What was it? You was dirty. So you know the same thing coming out of the ghetto, underprivileged. Hello. So should I hate everybody who commits a crime because a few teased me growing up? You just show me how weak you are. Because a strong man would know how to come back from that. Anybody who is easily manipulated to go against their own people is a weak person. It's a weak person. And honestly, like I said, you have hate for your own kind. At what point do you start looking at the people on the other side of the spectrum that don't work for the same government officials that you do as still being in the same plight that you was able to find your way out of? At what point do you help the situation? That's the same thing when they say about what they say about Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? And people like to think he made history when in all actuality we already had a black president. The so-called colonies, 13 colonies or whatever, or before it was really, deemed the United States of America, before the Constitution. There was already a black president. It was already about 3 or 4 black presidents before the Constitution. So it wasn't nothing special, him getting in office. And he was growing 30 years to take office anyway. Don't nobody who walks into the Senate for a year, they don't even get their feet wet in the Senate, become no president unless it was designed for it to go that way. And Farrakhan said it best. He wasn't elected, he was selected to govern white affairs. There's no other way to put it but that. How long are you going to continue to let this system manipulate you to hate your brother? That's the question. How long are you going to continue to let the system manipulate you to hate your brother? Because it's sad. It's sad. And at some point, At some point, you're going to have to say to yourself, you know what? I got to really take a look at what am I doing this job for? As a lawyer, as a police officer, as a judge. Our brothers and sisters that's in the military, how long are you going to sit there and not consider the fact that you out there protecting the wrong side of the spectrum? You ain't out protecting the liberties of the people. You out there to bully the rest of the people for this government to continue to control certain things and manipulate things with Israel. If truth be told, the truth be told, and I mean, like, come on, look at it for what it is, man. Stop letting the opposition manipulate you. Read a book. Read a newspaper. As a matter of fact, since you're always on your phone and social media, look up a few things that make sense, something that's important. That's what I say. That's what I say. But hey, you know, that's on everybody else. But then, you know, I look at the separation between Jay-Z and Dame Dash. That whole breakup was manipulated. And how they did it was they infiltrated by manipulating Jay-Z. They manipulated Jay-Z into doing their bit to get things to where they got it at. They utilized him to do that. And that's why I say, you know, at what point, that's why I'm looking at the thing with the battle rap leagues right now, like, don't let them infiltrate. Don't let them break that up, man. Don't let the powers that be manipulate anything where it's league against league, and we're going to put you in a position to be this, and no. Don't buy this. Utilize every league together, jointly, to do your own thing. Y'all been doing it. And y'all been surviving and been eating. Which lets you know y'all really don't need them. So if y'all want to make more, do it together without them. And if they do let you in, pull the rest of your brothers in. Start making these cards across leagues, man. Get the better from all sections, man, and make it happen, man. Help the brother to eat, man. Help the sister to eat, man. Don't leave them in a bad position. Because in that, we'll never get nowhere as a people. We'll never get nowhere as a people. Remember, yo, all we got is us, man. International Blast, man. Real Spitters TV, Real Spitters Radio, RealSpitters.com. Holla at your boy, man. Yo, and really, man. Yo, it's about us, man. It's about the people. And it's about us coming up and getting to come up. Holla at your boy.